So home buyers increasingly talk about when they start looking at homes, the limited inventory. But one of the things that's not kept in inventory oftentimes are new homes. And
Right.
while when I started the business, new homes are very, very popular. There's a wide variety throughout Southern California. Not as common now, but there are some new developments, and I'm really excited to share about them today. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate, along with my colleague and good friend,
Yes, Patricia Castillo.
and our good friend and lender,
How's it going, guys? Shannon Lender.
Pat. What's going on with new homes in Southern California?
You know, right now is a great time for buyers to get in on a new purchase, a new home purchase, because some of these brand new construction homes are sitting a little bit longer than what the builder would prefer. And so they want buyers to come in, look at the homes, and sometimes the builders will have their own open house and they put a couple signs out and hopefully, bring in some traffic. But when the builder starts reaching out to the realtors that have just sold townhomes that are local to the communities, that's when you know that you can get your buyer a great deal, right? So I was just invited to go to KB Homes in Pico Rivera. They have a community that they're building of 95 townhomes. They're 3 floors, so they're tri-level. They're between 2 and 4 bedrooms. Beautiful, beautiful community. 2.5 to 3 bathrooms, and they range between 1,300 square feet to almost 2,000 square feet. So they're pretty sizable. The prices are starting at 700,000, but you have to remember when you're looking at new construction, you're not going to get that floor model that you walked in and saw, the luxury vinyl plank flooring. You're not going to get the top of the line finishes. Those are all things that you can negotiate into the price, and you pick out those, those features for your home as the home is being built and it's being designed. So you work with the design center on the upgrades. Those are all considered upgrades. But some of these homes come with solar. They're, it's a private community behind gates. So it has that added security. So it kind of feels like a resort style, lifestyle that you're getting because of the amenities. There's a, swimming pool, spa, recreation center. So it's a really cool place. I'm actually going to make an appointment to go check it out, because when I spoke to the sales director there, she said, so they're incentivizing the realtors as well, right? Bring your buyers. Let's take a look at what they like, which model would make sense, and we'll give them a $20,000 concession.
Wow.
That can help towards your closing costs. And then also, because the builders have their own in-house lenders, they can qualify you on their own financing. So you're not going to use the financing that is available to the general public, like let's say through mortgage brokers or Chase or Bank of America. You're going to use the in-house lender for the builder, which if you have good credit, you have good income, they're going to give you a decent rate, which is probably going to be under 6%, might even be under 5%. It could be 3.99. I've been getting emails from builders that are saying 3.99% interest rate. So that just goes to show what the motivation is with the builders to get the home sold quicker. They don't want to increase their holding costs by holding on to all this inventory. They want to sell it. They're ready to make a deal, and they're ready to negotiate with realtors. So I'm excited to go check it out. I actually haven't been to that community, and I'm going to make an appointment. I was invited to go and check out the community and bring any clients that I had that would be interested. So that's my plan for this week. Maybe I'll go by there on Friday and check it out.
Nice.
I can attest being a loan broker, because sometimes clients, they share with me, hey, this is what the new construction lender is offering. And they honestly, no one really can beat new home construction lenders. I think obviously they're working together somehow. So even their closing costs as a traditional bank, that same bank normally will have X amount of fees. But when they're working with a builder, they probably have some kind of deal together, because those fees are pretty much always wiped away in a lot of cases. On top of that, you're getting some of the best rates. So I get it. That's one of the rare times I think, you would across the board get a better deal even if you go to retail, loan broker, construction lending, for some reason, I don't know the back end of how that works, but you can get a really, really good deal finance wise when it comes to these.
Well, I do know I do know the reason why I used to be a
Oh,
home
Bill,
builder.
yes, because you
financial-
have many lives. I keep forgetting.
My first
Please,
life,
Bill,
I was
share
doing
with us,
loans.
how are they able to get us so deal?
And my first entry in real estate was as a lender in Diamond Bar, and I was servicing a lot of new home construction in Walnut, Diamond Bar, all the way to Rancho Cucamonga. And I can tell you that sometimes the builders, to protect, if you're a home builder, you're building 300 homes at $700,000 each. That's like $20 million. So sometimes they'll buy an insurance policy on interest rates to guarantee a rate below. The rates won't go above a certain point. If rates go up, they have a guarantee rate. So they might have bought a lock-in rate at 6%. The rates went up, but they had bought that insurance policy. And so if they can do the loans,
the builder bought.
The builder often will buy to hedge their business, because what they're afraid of is if rates go to 9%, nobody's going to buy and they're going to be foreclosed on. So what they do is they buy like an equivalent of an insurance policy. It's like an option, but they'll say, we want to buy $10 million of Fannie Mae mortgage loans, but we want to fix the rate at, say, 6%, back when rates were at 6%. And then, they're the lender, so there's no middle. They cut out the wholesale lender. So maybe they got it 5 7.75 when the retail rate was 6, and the rates go up like they have now to 6.6. They can still offer because they bought it, as long as they close out a certain time period. So that's one reason why sometimes they can. Another is they're paying a premium to control the loan, because if they're late delivering the house, they don't want buyers to back out because the lock expired or problems like that, or people don't qualify. So there's different procedures and processes as to why they'll incentivize. On a $700,000 home, they're going to make, $140,000. They can afford to throw away $5,000 or $10,000 to make sure that the buyer gets through. So there's different incentives. I will say that, the fact that you get a good loan on their development, let's say you go to KB Homes, their lender on the KB Homes might offer you a special deal. If you decide not to buy KB Homes and you want to buy somewhere else, they're just like anybody else. Their deal's no better or worse. And in my experience, and as a general rule, the in-house loan officer isn't as good as somebody like Shannon, who has to make a living. In general, the new home lender is benefiting his business by sitting in the tract home or the model home and meeting people that way, coming to him, and the company's paying for it. Their commission is a little less. They get a little less experienced agent. That's not always true, but generally that's true. So I would say if you're buying in a tract and somebody like Patricia, your agent, tells you, hey, use this lender as a special deal, okay. But they'll want to finance you if you don't buy in that development. And generally speaking, it's not as good a deal or as good a company.
That's right.
Yeah, and I've actually experienced that same thing. I know for sure the lenders on the new constructions aren't as experienced. And the reason why is because I've had actually a client, obviously I lost the business from the new construction. No problem. I understand that the rate was just too good to, I even told them, look, dude, I get it. The rate is just too good. However, they came back and said, oh, I was denied. And obviously they're just going by cookie cutter guidelines. And I'm like, look, there is a guideline that states X and X. You can do this. Right. You can get more income. Explain this to them and see what they say. They said, oh yeah. They said, yeah, that works. So I had to do some of the work for this lender. Yeah. I wanted to keep that relationship. But again, I think they're right. They're just intaking applications, which, hey, fine. If you have W-2, employment, you're on salary. It's very simple. You should have a problem. But if your case is a little more unique, you might have to handhold the lender just a little bit. Again, not all, but I've experienced that before, where if it's not in their box and it's not apparent, they're just going to, and as opposed to a loan broker, where we're used to fitting, things in very, very unique, situations. So, but again, that makes sense. If that builder is bought already into a specific rate, or just trying to give some incentives, take advantage of that for sure.
And I had a business where when they had turn downs at a couple local builders, they'd call me rather than lose the buyer, see if I could perform some magic on a self-employed borrower. And I did that regularly. And they had a wholesale division, so I would repackage a loan and bring them back the loan, and we could get some of the protection. And again, that's something that your agent can help you with as well. If Patricia's working with you and their lender won't do the loan, you might go back to bring it to somebody like Shannon, get approved, and then come back to them and say, hey, we have approved. Here's what you missed. Here's what you did wrong. The buyers, but now we have to negotiate the sales price and the concessions and the lender concessions. And so it's just one of those things where I can tell you, if you go to the in-house sales rep and bypass a realtor, you now have the company is negotiating for what's best for the company. When you have Patricia there, she's going to help you negotiate what's best for you. So that's why it's important. I think new homes in particular, they have separate forms. They're not the same consumer-focused car forms that we use as members of California Association of Realtors. So they have their own forms that you need an attorney to really understand. They have their own escrow, their own title, their own lender, their own insurance, or this or that. You want to get someone in your team. And that's why if you're going to go look at your homes, talk to a professional like Patricia, who's going to learn the inventory and the market and help you get a good deal.
That's right. And so, when you're talking to the builder, and let's say like back to what Shannon was saying, so as a buyer, you do have the option. You can use your own lender, or you can use the lender that the builder has. But if you're already you've already toured the models, you've had a conversation with the sales director there, they're not going to want to lose that buyer because they're having trouble moving these brand new homes and getting them sold in the time that they would like to have them sold. So even if you were going to use your own lender, this is a time that negotiations are key because you can still get really great incentives. So maybe you're not going to get the exact interest rate that the in-house lender would have given you, but through those concessions that you would be getting through negotiations, you can use to also buy down your rate, pay for closing costs, and negotiate a lot of different aspects that you would be paying for basically during, or even upgrades. You can negotiate on upgrades too. So with new construction, there's a lot to navigate through and also negotiate with.
And how much did you say, Patricia, these ones are going in Pico Rivera?
Well, she didn't tell me about
ranges,
but the incentive right off the bat is $20,000 for closing costs.
But how much are they going for, like the purchase price?
They're starting at $700,000. So these are tri-level homes.
That's not bad.
You're getting a brand new home. You're not going to have to do any.
That's what I'm saying. That's not bad.
Years. So starting at $700,000, they do have some models that are ready to move in already. Those were the model homes. The other, homes on that phase have already sold. So now they're selling some of the model homes. Those are ready to move in. Prices on those change because it depends on what has sold, what the inventory is, and basically how badly they want to get rid of it, right? So that's why when there's holidays that come up, they know people are going to be, if you didn't take off for the weekend or for the holiday, they know that you're going to be staying home, probably out shopping, eating, going to the park, doing family picnics and things like that. So they will usually have a promotion around, let's say, 4th of July, Labor Day, so that's when they have the promotions to bring the crowds, bring the buyers, and see what the models are like and what the homes have to offer. But these here in Pico Rivera, as I mentioned, it's a 95 home community, 95 homes, and they're side by side. So you're not going to have another owner living above you or beneath you. So they're tri-level. And I think that's another thing is you have to be living somewhat of an active lifestyle, right? To be going up and down those flights of stairs, because typically your living room, like the one that I sold, it was also tri-level in Pico Rivera. But the first floor, it's kind of just like the entryway, almost like a mud room, access to the garage. They do have a tandem garage, so you could probably fit 2 really large or 3 small cars in the garage. So it's a really sizable garage. The second floor is the living space. So that's where the living room is combined with the kitchen. And they have the biggest kitchen island I've ever seen. It's massive. So that's the main floor is the second level. The third level are the bedrooms and the laundry room. So think about it, right? You're getting ready for work. You're going up and down the stairs. right? So as soon as you get home, you have to go up a flight of stairs just to get to your kitchen and your living room. So those are things to consider. Just depends on what the buyer is looking for, what stage of their life they're in, right? And if they want to have a single story home or they want to have a townhome that's brand new and has a couple of flights of stairs. Now the buyer that I
is good for young buyers.
Yeah, they were a young couple with a newborn in their late 30s. So for them, it was perfect. It just depends on the type of buyer that you have and if that style is going to fit their lifestyle. But new construction,
real estate question.
Really good purchase right now. Really good deals happening.
Historically, what are the resale values of these new constructions, you think? Let's say, obviously, I think maybe 10 years down the line for sure. What's your opinion on that? Like, hey, you know what, if I'm buying new construction, is there any equity that, but then I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that, but.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the real estate market and where the economy's at, right? Because you could buy any home, and in 5 or 10 years, depending on where the market's at, you could be having some equity, you could be kind of more balanced out, right? Because you just bought a home, so you're going to be, especially if you're getting in at 3.5%. I mean, you're still going to have the loan balance to pay, and then I think it also depends on the features that you're getting, the upgrades that you're getting in the home. Like, let's say paid off. Or a lot of people right now are looking at the green homes that have, they're making them all electric and they have solar, and the solar is included in the price in the sale of the home. So that was like the condo that I sold. So my clients were really excited about that because the home was electric and it has solar, right? So everything is electric, and they were really excited about it. I personally like to cook on a gas stove. So, it just depends what the preference is. But yes, I think it just depends on not just the home itself. It's not like an isolated thing that we can look at to just look at the property and say, okay, well, I think in 5 or 10 years, you're going to have this much equity, right? Because it depends on how much you're paying down on the loan balance and what the economy is doing and what the housing market is doing, because it is cyclical.
Well, I don't know anybody cares so much about electrical versus gas as much as the electrical, if it's solar, can reduce your energy, and you might cover a quarter or half or all of your electrical usage. Or with people who have electric cars, it's a way to free charge your car. In essence, you're collecting the power from the sun, and if you have like battery packs or whatever, then you're charging your cars and could do it all off hours. So again, I'm not exactly like a whole green person myself in that sense, but I understand the economics. And I think when somebody can look at their electric bill and say, hey, it's half of what it otherwise would be because of the solar panels. And I think the other difference is the solar panels you get after effect are limited in how much space they can put in, and they're installing them, and the interest on those payments or lease payments are higher because they're making money on installing them versus the new build that's required on the new build. But they're doing the whole tract with solar. They bought them all together. They can maximize the size of the layout. And so, and also the newer ones, some of them are really attractive. I don't know what's happening in the ones in there in Downey, but there are new solar panels now that just look like regular roof tiles. You wouldn't know they're solar, but unless you look really carefully and look closely, but they can lower your home electric bill by 25% or 50%, depending on who you are and how much you use.
Yeah, I think the solar panels and solar industry has come a long way in terms of the design, because they're making them more sleek, more modern. You look at the older panels, they stick out on top, and some of them are just an eyesore. They just don't look nice.
Right.
But I think they've changed a lot as far as the design goes.
And the payment it depends.
We have to do a new segment.
On solar panels?
No, just this or that. Patricia likes gas. You don't mind electric. There's a lot of new things. Like, for example, tankless water heater, right? Some people still like the tank. Some people like tankless, right? We got to do a this or that. But what do you prefer with all these new changes on home building, yeah, that's gonna be a cool thing.
So being a religious Jew, we need the tank because the water's already heated.
I actually prefer tank. Why?
There's
Why
a whole
is
religious
this
discussion
needed?
as to why we go for the tank on our Sabbath. You can use there's opinions you can use the tank versus the tankless. You're using the fire right away. So I don't know. I have any preference on how it works, but I can just say I can use hot water for the tank
Interesting.
versus a tankless. I can't use it on the Sabbath. That's the main reason. Anyway, as far as cooking, personally, I am a tremendous barbecue. I got to tell you, I've hit the system now on barbecuing steaks on my grill outside. I've just become a
Yeah, but is
master
it an
chef.
electric? Is it electric barbecue or is
No,
it?
it's propane gas.
Well,
Propane gas.
you're proving her point. You're proving her point.
Well,
there.
I would say I don't know that it makes a difference. It's the heat and the grill, not the like. Meaning, for years I was a really big believer in the old-fashioned barbecues and you put wood on it, and I really don't believe that anymore. I think that with the right preparation of the meat, we can turn this into a barbecue show, but with the right preparation of the meat and the proper strategy for barbecuing, it doesn't matter the wood and all that stuff is just not really that important.
Well,
I mean, I just
I
killed it
love
the other
it.
night with steaks. I was like amazed myself. I
So we're gonna
had
have
nobody
to
to
do
tell.
We're going to have to do another homebuyer workshop on including your grill master
No,
skills.
can I request a live homebuyer seminar at Bill's house, and we got to try these steaks live? That's what we got to do.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I could do that. I could definitely do that. And then become the business
Just
expense.
record while we're eating.
You know,
I'll get the steaks. I'll get the steaks. You just grill them.
I'll tell you what. I think the key is a good piece of meat. I'll get the steak because the reality is, I think if you have the right piece of meat, as long as you cook it properly. I grew up on steak sauce and ketchup and all that, and very heavily seasoned steaks. Now I do season with pepper and salt a lot. I like the crusty edges, but you shouldn't need steak sauce to be grilled properly. And I tell you, I just hit out of the park the other night. I was at the market and they had just these ginormous, thick, beautiful pieces of meat. I just said, let's give it a try.
Good for you.
All right. Well,
Feel my oats here.
Awesome.
Summer's 4 days away. Okay, we're losing all the viewers here because nobody cares about barbecue but me. 4 days away from summertime.
That's right. All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Any last words of wisdom, encouragement, information, helpful tips?
Make sure if you buy a new house, make sure you have room in the back for barbecue.
That's right. We're going to Bill's house once we close escrow.
Come on over.
Yep.
Shannon, what's up with you? How does people reach you?
Obviously, my phone number is 661-317-8484. My Instagram, FUND Fun with Shannon. You can get all the information there. Yeah, and obviously, hey guys, if you need anything, pre-quals, even just a second opinion, reach out. I can do that as well.
Fantastic. Patricia, how do people get a hold of you?
My cell phone, 323-365-9909.
And my new Instagram is Barbecue Fun with Bill. You can check me out there. I'm Bill Gross. And I'm really into this. The summertime's coming, man. I am ready for it.
Gotta get ready. I'm ready too. I have my grill. I'm gonna send you a video and we're gonna have a grilling cook-off session.
Sounds great. Sounds good. Carne asada. Okay, and I'm at Bill Gross Probate Social Media. We do this every week. New episodes on Friday. Love your comments. Love your feedback. Too much in the barbecue? You want more in the barbecue? Let me know. Or send us your favorite recipe. We'd love to hear from you. Either way, make it your best day ever. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.